Hello, good evening, and welcome to Spotlight on MX24 television. My name is Nuong Falong. As usual, we're still continuing our series in Made in Ghana month, and we're focusing on so many things made in Ghana right here at MX24 television. Remember the hashtag ExperienceGH Ghana month on MX24, and by Ghana to grow Ghana. We have the Made in Ghana Entrepreneurship Fair coming off on the 26th and 27th right here at the forecourt of MX24 television. That is our maiden edition of the Independence Fair here at MX24 television. There's an easy way to be part of this fair if you're a Ghanaian entrepreneur making it happen. Call the number 0242 355956 and sign on to the fair so you can be here to exhibit your products between the 26th and 27th of March. Now, did you know that rice is one of the major staples consumed in Ghana? Common knowledge, I know. Yet, Ghana is food insufficient in rice production in Ghana. With consumption annually outstripping production, and a whopping 66% of rice consumed in Ghana is imported. That's not a very comfortable figure there. If we go back to 2020, we can see from the figures that rice imports was about 950,000 tons in 1 year. Now, this importation has sustained an annual growth rate of 12.53%. So rice importation is not reducing, it is going up. That does not make us comfortable. Now, Ghana spends an estimated $1 billion on the importation of rice. Annually, it's a staggering figure. The economic cost, of course, of spending so much on importation of rice are very high, and they continue to rise annually. They affect both the value of the currency and employment, and constantly undercuts the efforts of rice farmers in Ghana. Between 2007 and 2015, the amount spent on imported rice rose astronomically. There was a point in 2007, Ghana was spending $151 million on rice importation. Between then and now, the figure has gone above $1 billion. It's a very worrying situation. Today, we are putting the spotlight on how Ghana can become more sufficient in rice production. So the focus is on rice production in Ghana. I'm going to be speaking with stakeholders of the industry, of course. We have the convener of Rice Millers Association of Ghana with us, Mr. Yao Edupoku is right here. We have David Ntorin Kansa, who is CEO of Benji Rice. He's right here on my left. He also produces Duke Rice and other cereals. We'll also be joined on Zoom by someone who is very familiar to Spotlight viewers, Charles Inyaba, who is head of programs and advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. He will be joining us on Zoom. I intend to have a very informative conversation with these gentlemen. But before we get into that, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, Spotlight continues. You want to stick and stay.
March is here, and on MX24, it's GH Month. As part of the month-long activities to celebrate exceptional Ghanaian products and services, we're organizing a 2-day pop-up shop and sales exhibition, the Ghana Independence Fair, happening on the 26th and 27th of March 2022 at MX24, Silicon Square, Boundary Road, East Legon. It'll be 2 days of sales exhibitions, workshops, pitch sessions, a food fair, and open-air concert. Get your stand now. Exhibit and benefit from a month-long exclusive promotional package for Ghanaian-owned businesses. Visit mx24online.com to register your business now. You can also call 055 0500 555 or 024 235 5956. The Ghana Independence Fair on the 26th and 27th of March. By Ghana to grow Ghana.
Welcome back to Spotlight, and thank you for staying. For the entrepreneurs who are joining us, I mentioned earlier that the MX Independence Fair comes off on the 26th and 27th of this month. If you want to be part of it, give us a call and we will sign you up. It's 0242 355956. Again, the number is 0242 355956. Now let's get into rice production in Ghana and answer all the important questions. I am going to start it off on an interesting question. First, let me check if Charles Nyaba has joined us yet. Charles, are you on the line?
I'm on the line.
Fantastic, Charles. I think I should throw this question at you. I know that under the Planting for Food and Jobs, government has supplied, the figures I have here says 1699 tons of rice, so 1,699 tons of rice seed to farmers since 2017. Also, the prices were subsidized. There have been other interventions. Quickly, can you tell me if this has had an impact on rice production in any way?
Thank you. It appears the internet is not stable. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. I think you are right. Let me first of all say good evening to you and my colleague in the studio, and all the farmers and the other stakeholders who might be watching us. I think you are right. Government invested so much
in planting for
through the Planting for Food and Jobs on certain staple foods. Rice is one of them. The aim was to ensure that Ghana becomes self-sufficient in rice production. Because if you look at all the 16 regions in Ghana, we have potential for production of rice. So it means that if government increased investment in rice, we were hoping that we should be able to reduce importation of rice. Notwithstanding, there are inconsistent policies within government itself that is making all of us confused as to whether this agenda government is setting, he actually means that we want to actually become self-sufficient or otherwise. I say this because apart from providing farmers with subsidized seeds, government also provided farmers with subsidized fertilizer. As part of the one district, one warehouse, government is putting out warehouses for rice farmers to store their grains in. Some rice millers were also supported with soft loans to establish rice milling across the growing areas. So, about your point, we were excited, but in recent days, the government refused to listen to us about providing hidden subsidies to rice importers in the name of benchmark discount value. I mean, we are a bit worried about that. And then we think that will go a long way to actually undermine our efforts to become self-sufficient in rice production. This is because the countries where these imports are coming from, the farmers are benefiting from zero interest rate. They are given benchmark prices that when they produce and their cost of production is that high. You go to Thailand, Japan, Vietnam, the same thing. When you produce, your cost of production is high, government subsidized to ensure that you're able to sell to remain in business. So they do all that to them. And we don't do any investment in the area of credit for the farming. So if you are now supporting this book, giving them additional tax holidays to dump their rice on us, it's worrying. And that alone is enough to discourage farmers who have the zeal to increase their rice production from doing that. Apart from that, you realize that the recent increases in fuel prices and then the depreciation of the cedi is also affecting activities in the rice sector.
All entrepreneurs.
Yeah, this is because apart from rain and land, all other factors of production, not only rice, we depend on imports. If you look at before we start production, you need to clear your land, we import the machinery like the tractors. To plant, we import planters. Fertilizer, we import them. Hybrid seeds, we import them. Agrochemicals, we import them. Combine harvesters, we import them. So once the CD is depreciated, the price of all these machineries goes up, and those prices are pushed on the farmer. So if we are overburdened with this cost of production, instead of the government cushioning us to remain in business so that we will be able to arrest the city for alleged bomb, you rather put in measures that makes it difficult for us to arrest the city. And that's why we are all experiencing what we are experiencing now. So in the form of my introductory remarks, I think that's what I can say about the rice sector.
Interesting.
And disappointment.
Interesting introductory remarks. I'm surprised that you're talking about arresting the city. I think this is something that we all need to become soldiers to be able to arrest the city, because at this point it's quite a challenge. He mentioned, Mr. Dupoku, let me just come to you. Mr. Nyaba was talking about machinery, all of that. And in the milling side, I know that machinery are very key. The challenges he outlined, are these things that you identify with?
Exactly. In fact, Charles and I have been meeting on several platforms, trying to look at ways and means to bring good practices to farmers so that our yield will go up, and also have a voice when it comes to rice policy. And so we have identical challenges, and the solutions, I think, is the same.
What is it like to produce rice in Ghana?
It is an onerous
Because
tax.
we are on the consumption side.
I know. It is an onerous tax, but quite interesting. Ghana, as Charles just said, abounds everywhere with land for rice cultivation. If we put our efforts into it, Ghana should be a net exporter of rice. And this is where we want to direct attention to.
But can we cover the volume that is required?
Easily, very easily. We can do that and more. In fact, if you go back, the current Minister for Agriculture set 2022 as the date for self-sufficiency in rice. We missed that opportunity, so he moved it to 2024. As I said here, I don't think we can meet it. Not because we don't have the land or the people, but it's the preparation towards it. It's not ready yet. So we all hope that 2024 target could be reached.
How do we prepare towards it?
I will prepare towards it by enhancing the farming end and also enhancing the milling end, and then same thing with the distribution end. These are the three pillars that makes rice cultivation and consumption in the country. As to land, we have it. Interestingly enough, both South and North produces rice. From Western region across all the way to the east, that is Keta. And then you go up to Boko on one side and Hamley on the other side. In between is rice growing areas. We have so many valley bottom land, which is a natural rice cultivation end. And then we have a wide expanse of land in the north and in the Volta region. That is also good for rice cultivation.
But does the weather encourage it?
The weather, we know the weather is seasonal. Apart from we doing rain-fed agriculture, which is not good enough in these modern times, the weather is also another thing to contend with, especially around this time of the year when the harmattan sets in. When the harmattan sets in, rice in the pod breaks down into several fragments. So before it goes into the machine, it is already broken down.
Scattered already.
Exactly. And
so you can't get the whole grain?
No, you can't get the whole grain around this time, unless it's specially preserved or stored, which we lack in this country.
So how do you prevent that from happening?
We can, if we put our minds to it. It is a very simple process. Put silos in place. Silos are made to preserve grains. We don't have silos in Ghana. And so the farmer is at the mercy of the weather. And so when Harmattan sets in, every farmer knows he's in trouble. And this is what has happened since my grandmother's time, my father's time, my time. And it's going to go to my children's time. And that is not good enough.
So at a point, we need to end the cycle.
We need to end the cycle. We have tried in our own small way to get the government to at least understand the situation, where at one point we hear glut, but there's no glut in Ghana. That's the point. It is the power to purchase the paddy which makes it look like there is a glut, but it's actually not a glut. And then once that is even taken care of, we don't have enough milling centers in the system. And so we need to get investors to come in and mill the rice that we produce, because Ghana is producing around 1 million metric tons of paddy, which translates into about 60% recovery. That is when you haul the husk off. We also polish the brown away. And so the recovery rate is around 60%. Actually, Ghana is...
Is that low or is it
no, the normal thing is about 70%.
Okay, so we're below
because you
the
have
normal.
20% being the husk, and then you have about 10% being the bran.
Okay.
So the rice mill, which is the white one, is about 70% of the pot. But we are getting, because of our practices, we are not able to get the 70%.
So it's about improving the practices.
Exactly.
And that comes with improving the process of both farming and the milling.
Exactly.
I see. Wow. Okay. So which means that we are making some losses over there.
Definitely.
So the losses go directly to the farmer.
It does.
Oh, okay.
And the farmer tries to push it off onto the miller.
Yeah.
And the miller also wants to push it off onto the consumer.
Okay, so it goes into the
it's a
price
round-robin thing
of it. And then it goes back to what Mr. Nyaba was talking about prices and competitiveness on the market. Let me come to, so can I call you Benji Rice?
That's right. It's okay.
Let me come to you and see if you are identifying with competitiveness, because you have rice brands on the market, you have other cereal brands on the market. Are you able to compete with foreign brands that are coming in, especially in all this made in Ghana drive and consume Ghana rice? How does the market treat you?
Okay. So thank you very much again for this august opportunity. For us, we've seen a niche in the local market. Whatever they are bringing overseas, we are able to produce the same thing here.
So you're saying the quality that is coming from abroad in Ghana, we have the same quality?
Try Benji rice, try Duke rice, and give me your feedback.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Now, the challenge we have is price competitiveness. Unfortunately, the price point at which local rice starts from is so high because of our cost of production. And unfortunately, all government interventions do not tackle this very issue. If we allow the local rice producers to do their best, and government supports them with a lot of subsidies, tax incentives, and other ways to reduce their cost of production, we can compete on any stage in the world. Because currently, what we are producing is loved by everyone. And the import substitution drive has started. Unfortunately, the price at which we are selling is too high, so they will prefer to go for local and cheaper
to a
imports.
Supermarket, there's local rice, there's imported
Exactly.
rice. If it's the same quality and one has a lower price,
then they'll take that, because Accra stay by plan.
Now, before the program started, we have an interesting conversation about the difference between local rice, locally produced rice. What's the difference?
Okay, that is a challenge we face anytime we step into the market to sell our rice.
Okay.
You get there and say, oh, local rice, then you're there. Then we try to conscientize them. You know, just like cocoa.
But is it not local rice?
So I'm coming.
Okay.
Just like cocoa, the seed that Tetekwashi brought in was a certain variety of cocoa.
Okay.
That is what we propagated. Unfortunately for us, the rice we started with in the past till now is this Tujimi kind of rice and that kind of thing. So anybody sees rice and stereotypes.
So it's a specific variety.
It's a specific variety. We have the long grain aromatic ones, which we produce. And when you try it, you ask, look, in the market now, people take Benji and ask, is this local rice?
So our climate is able to support the different varieties also?
Why not?
Okay.
And as my senior colleague said, we are doing exactly what we are importing. Yeah. But the problem is the price point. Because by the time I finish and I'm selling at 200 and the foreign import is selling at 140, straight away I'm out.
But then it's still locally produced
It's
rice.
locally produced rice.
Right.
So local rice is not locally produced rice. Local rice is that variety.
Because for me, all rice produced in Ghana is local.
No, I get you.
You see, I'll say, wait for the explanation.
So all rice produced in Ghana is not local rice for the purposes of correction. Local rice is rice produced in Ghana. And then we have a variety, which is tujimi. And then we have the local aromatic fragrance long grain rice.
We have
which
basmati rice in Ghana.
No, we don't have basmati yet.
But it's also a variety that can be done.
It can be done.
Okay.
It can be done in a very short time.
When did you get into rice production? How did it happen? We have entrepreneurs who are watching. These days, there's a lot of talk about, young people going into farming, going into rice farming, cocoa farming, maize. How did you start?
Okay, so this is a question I keep getting. First of all, when I tell people I'm a farmer, I go for embassy interviews. I'm a farmer. They look at me a certain way. Go to the bank. You're a farmer. You don't look like a farmer. How should farmers look exactly? So a farmer should look dirty with a Wellington boot somewhere there. No, this is the new phase of farming. Farming is a business.
I see.
It is not a hobby as we used to think. And it involves a lot of money.
It has to be able to feed you.
Exactly.
We want people to go into it.
Look, if I tell you the amount of money we used to buy, this year alone, we've just done 2 months. We bought over 2 million cedis worth of paddy rice. Yes. And it's not for tattered clothes people. That kind of money is not...
It also involves a lot of investment.
This is what I'm telling you. So it is a business. And we must look at farmers as businessmen. And farmers are millionaires. We must have that in mind. Farmers are millionaires. So yes, farming is a business. Rice farming is a business. How I started, a very brief history. The very first rice I milled became powder. Yes, I know.
These are the losses you were talking about.
And whether to cry or to laugh was another story. And fast forward to now, we've been able to learn the hard way.
Why? See, what I want to ask is, why did it become powder?
Okay.
And how can a first timer avoid their rice becoming? Because you put all this money in and the rice becomes powder.
So what happened was that we didn't know a lot of things. You go to a farmer, he sells chaff for you. They stuff it with immature grains, with unfilled paddy. You buy it, a bag, you take it there, and then all you have is grits. It's more like Gary in your hands.
Like he was saying.
Exactly. So what do you do?
Breaks. Yeah.
So we had to learn the hard way, get into the varieties, try each of them. It was been a hard, long journey. And to settle... Patience. And consistency.
Knowledge also.
Consistency.
Okay.
You see. So to settle on the right variety that the market wants. You see, I saw an article on Joy News. Oh, there's plenty rice in the north, nobody's buying it. If the rice is good, I'll buy all. Yes. The kind of rice we want, we are not getting it to buy. This is the problem.
I'll come back to you shortly. I want to know why the rice is not good. Let me call Mr. Nyaba. Mr. Nyaba, you're on the line. Hello, Mr. Nyaba, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm on the line.
Why is the rice not as good as the off-takers want it to be?
Okay, so thank you. I sympathize with my colleague who said he
You heard his story. His first attempt was turned to powder.
Okay. Just like Mr. Oduku, you see, Ghanaian farmers are highly efficient. We have the potential to produce like any other farmer anywhere. In 2019, I can say my personal story.
Okay.
I cultivated 100 acres. I deploy all the agronomic practices that will ensure that I meet the quality standards and I get the yields that are expected. The rice was ready for harvesting. In fact, I had to struggle to get a combine harvester. The one I sent the first day, the combine broke down.
Oh.
They will have to, that was on
This
the
machinery
Yarba.
thing is a big problem.
Yes, that was on the Yarba valleys. The operator had to go back to Tamale to get mechanics to come. They came, they spent more than 3 days, they couldn't actually fix it. So I had to look for a different combine harvester. On 23rd, this was happening on the 18th of November, I still remember. On 23rd, that I was expecting to get a combine to come on 24th, the entire field got burned. You know, and this happened to many other farmers. There are many instances when farmers' rice is ready for harvest. By the time they get the combine harvester, either the rice will have been over-dried. So if my friend David goes to buy that dried, that has no any moisture content, and mill it, the likelihood of the rice being broken is very high. So these are some of the challenges why parents will always complain that the rice that are coming from northern Ghana is not milling to meet the standards that they need. As we speak, there are many people who still have rice, but because of the quality, I agree with him. But that quality is not because of the variety, or it's not because the farmers are not putting in all the agronomic practices. It is because of infrastructure challenges that makes it difficult for them to harvest it at the time that these millers need it. If you ask Mr. Odupoku, he will tell you he has experience of what farmers are going through. So I would still like to emphasize that if we actually mean to improve the rice sector and want to become self-sufficient in rice production, we need to also focus on how we make farmers more efficient by providing them with the tools that they can use to produce. Cost of production is comparatively higher than that of the foreign farmers. And this is not because they are better than us. Today, when you go to the irrigation site, they're looking for company that you are buying from. It's between 360 Ghana cedis to 500 Ghana cedis. People are buying urea for 500 Ghana cedis for one bag. So if you are buying, and you go to place like Thailand, now where they are buying a bag for just $20, how can I produce to be more competitive than they are? So these are some of the things that we are talking about, and we all need to come together to see how best we'll be able to handle these small challenges, and the farmers will be able to actually produce and sell it at a price that when the millers also buy, they'll be able to mill and make profit.
Interesting. Mr. Dupoku, is the association not able to help? Because it looks like there's a small gap between the rice being, ripe for it to be taken off the farm and it getting too dry. And once it gets too dry, the losses are increasing for both the farmer and, the people who are taking it off the farmers. Who steps into this gap? Can the association do that?
This association are made up of private investors.
I see.
Who, I might say, may not be able to take all the burden and solve the problem at once. But we are doing our best. The point is that rice is a seasonal crop. And when it comes, it comes. And so, for example, in the northern region, it comes around the same time. So within a period of 2-3 months, we start harvesting. And since everybody is harvesting, definitely you will see it as a glut. But I keep on saying that this is not a glut. If we have the resources, we could pick all this paddy. We call it paddy then. We could pick all this paddy and put it in storage bins all over.
So it's basically evidence of the machinery we do not have.
It is. That is the problem. It's got nothing to do. You see, Mr. Tori was talking about powder. Once the harmattan sets in, wherever you put the rice, you are in trouble because we don't have the requisite storage system for you to preserve the rice. So the harmattan will suck away the moisture in the rice. So by the time you mill, it has already turned powder inside the pot. This is what is happening. And in this situation, calling on investors to do it is a bit over their heads. We need some interventions, which we can do, and then we spread the cost over a period of time, and everybody will be briefing, And with this, we can then be able to assure the consuming public that rice will be available year-round and price can remain stable. But this is not being done. It has been overlooked. And this is why we have this situation occurring every year.
Let me move to the positive so we don't scare our entrepreneur viewers. So all these issues are associated with it. But like with every business, there's so many challenges. How can someone watching us right now who wants to go into rice production, how do they start?
It's simple.
Yes.
You want to be at the farmer end or the milling end or the distribution end.
So you choose your
You choose where
position.
you want.
Yeah.
Like Benji, producer, said, it's a niche market. We have about 23 varieties of rice in the country currently. That had been researched by the CSIR, that's Center for Scientific and Industrial Research Institute, and their sister institute in the Northern region, that is SARI. So we have 23 varieties currently in the system. We met and we told them that the country doesn't need 23 varieties. We need maximum about 5 or 3.
Those are good.
Because what the consumer wants is the fragrance. And then the long grain, which we have adopted. So once it is long grain and it is fragrant, we will go for it. Because the truth is that our rice tastes very, very good. It tastes
What
very
makes it taste good?
Once you cook it, you can even start eating it without the stew
That's
or the
true.
soup.
I eat a lot of local rice.
Yeah. And so the perception out there that the rice is not up to par is not correct. We have changed that scenario. We have changed it totally. Now we have ultra-molding machines that hull and polish the rice, and then we are able to bring it to the market side by side with the imported ones, and we are miles ahead.
Let me ask you, what's the difference between the red one and the white one? Is it the milling
It's a variety.
process? Okay.
It's a variety, but any rice that you pick, if you pick a pod and you take the husk, the color is brown.
Yeah.
So
That's
the
the
brown
paddy rice.
color is the bran.
Okay.
And the bran is where the nutritious part of the rice is.
Yeah.
But we are used to the white meal.
Yeah.
So we polish off the bran
And leave
because
the
we
white.
don't want it.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit of, yeah.
I like
In fact, it has
the brown
18% oil.
I see.
The bran has 18% oil. We have plans to develop vegetable oil, rice vegetable oil later. That will come. So you see, everything you do with rice, value added, you make money. But we are approaching it wrongly. This is why people like Ms. Antori who are vigorously fighting in the market have an uphill task.
Yeah. Mr. Antorin Cancer, you
Yes,
mentioned.
madam.
Call me sir. you mentioned having problems with the quality of the rice on the farm that you take from farmers. Do you ever farm yourself, or you, like you said, everyone has their position, so you are not in the farming?
Fortunately, I'll say by the grace of God, we find ourselves on every place on the rice value chain except the input supply. But right from farming to processing to marketing, even to consumption, we are there. We are there. So,
You're eating your product.
yes, so we are there. The only thing, as I'm saying, is that we have some farmers who are recalcitrant. They are used to what they know. They don't want to change. They don't want to change. They are the ones creating a little problem for us. But as Mr. Edu is trying to say, majority of people are adapting the new approach, the new seeds that have been given. But there's still a little variance to what the market actually wants and what is being supplied by government. There's still a little variance. Me, for instance, I don't buy any other rice apart from jasmine. So we have a lot of rice valleys, but you go there, I only buy the jasmine one that meets our quality standards.
Okay.
And what we produce from our farm. Anything outside that, I'll not buy it because I can't sell it. This is the truth of the matter.
Demand that dictates what you are supplying.
Exactly. So that's why I said we have a niche. So we have to satisfy that. And the demand is overwhelming, to be honest with you. I'm telling you, Ghanaians want local rice. The kind of calls we get, in fact, in Christmas, let me share a story. Last year, we had We had over 40,000 bags in our warehouse. And between 14th November to
Sorry,
7th...
how many bags?
40,000 bags of 25 kilo. Between 14th November and 7th December, all the rice was gone.
Okay, Christmas buying.
I'm telling you. And we couldn't even get some for other MMDAs. We couldn't.
Wow. How much was the volume within a year?
Volume for us?
Yes.
We are doing, our target for this year is 1,000 metric tons every month. That is our target.
1,000 metric tons
every month.
Every month.
And that's just a drop in the ocean, looking at your figures.
That's true.
Yes.
I mean, considering how much Ghanaians are buying of rice, you're not going to be the only supplier. Even then, they'll still have to supplement. But if you're doing that volume, how much money do you need to inject into that to make it happen?
You don't want to know.
You want
It's
to know.
a lot of money. Look, as Mr. Nyaba was trying to say, the cost of production is so high. Cost of paddy rice is so high. We are buying paddy. If you go to Donya irrigation scheme, they are selling a 90 kilo for over 260 cedis per bag. That will move you to over 3,000 cedis a ton. How do we survive? We cannot sell at your 140 and 150. We must sell to survive and then stay until we kick the foreigners out. And that is what we are trying to do.
So if you're doing this volume, and clearly you don't require small money to do it, how can a small entrepreneur go into rice farm? Someone like me, how do I go into rice farm?
So that is why Mr. Edu said, choose
Choose
your cross.
position.
Choose your cross and bear it. So I advise people who want to enter.
It's capital intensive.
It is. So you start from the marketing end, where you approach a miller. The miller will supply you with some rice, and then you get your brand developed. You register it with FDA, GSA, get all the statutory licenses, and then start the marketing from there. Once you do that, it will build your market before you dovetail into actual production. And by that time, you would have gathered muscle to be able to do what we do.
Do you outsource your the purchasing of the rice? For example, if there's an individual who wants to buy from the farmers and bring it to you, do you work like that?
Truth be told, personally, I won't do it.
Okay.
It can be
Why?
done when we have trustworthy people in the system.
Okay. So
Because
there's a problem
somebody-
of trust to here.
Somebody will go and aggregate something else. Come up, you see, and rice, it's such that Mr. will tell you, until you mail, you can't tell what is in there. So you see the thing brown, but until you mail it, you can't tell. And by that time, the man is long gone with his cash. You see, and the kind of money you're talking about, it's not small. Can you imagine I pay you 2 million cedis, 3 million Ghana cedis, supply me, let's say, 2,000 metric tons of rice, and then you abscond with that kind of money and give me chaff?
Then you're left with bad. I mean, you've already made that mistake
Exactly.
in the beginning.
So once bitten, twice shy.
So now you've grown. What kind of support do you think, in like policy level or from the government aspect, would help your business do better?
To be honest with you, I believe government must create Dangotes of Africa.
In fact,
They must do that.
yesterday I was on an event where the finance minister was present, and he said he is committed, government is committed to creating millionaires among Ghanaian entrepreneurs. So speak to him.
We can't do this by ordering 200 tractors, 75 horsepower, and distributing it for smallholder farmers. It won't work. You must identify potential nucleus farmers who will be the anchor around which all the smallholder farmers will come to. For instance, Mr. Edu talked about silos. If a nucleus farmer has silos that can house 5,000, 10,000 metric tons, and a smallholder is producing 2 tons, can't you get a place to store it?
Oh, very easy.
Why should the smallholder have the silo? That's one hectare. He can't even feed his family with it. This is what we are talking about. Identify strategic people. You don't need many. Just a few, a handful, 5, 10 in the whole of Ghana. And make them. This is it. We cannot continue bringing harvesters, small harvesters. Oh, peasant farmers. Truth be told, we applied for I don't want to mention it, but we applied for a facility from the ministry back in the day. And we were supposed to have gotten $6 million. Only for them to turn and say, no, we cannot give 6 million to one person. So we must share $30,000 for all the small.
But can you justify the figure? That's the question. I mean,
why
it's
not?
going to be about
Look,
the volume you're producing.
farming infrastructure is very expensive.
Yeah.
First thing, even vehicles, if you see the car I brought here, it is not cheap. It is not one that you use to work on normal ground. Already the grounds we are using,
serious ground.
we don't have the roads. We need grain trailers. We need huge combine harvesters. If we are going to do commercial farming, we need serious investment.
Machinery is expensive.
We are not getting that kind of thing. We are getting small plow, thread-disc plow, and those things. When people are using roam plows and how do you call it, aeroplanes to do how do you call that thing? Insecticide spraying and all of that. And we are doing knapsack. How can we grow? How can we grow? When you go and ask the cost of one harvester, $125,000.
But the small farmers will say they are also worthy.
No, we are not saying they are not worthy.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that support Mr. Edu. Make him have the capacity to attend to all these guys. If he has capacity to handle 5,000 hectares of rice.
Based on the farmer's capacity.
Yes, even if his farm is 1,000, the remaining installed capacity of 4,000 will attend to all the other small older farmers. And this is what we're talking about. Anything outside of that, we are just joking, honestly.
Interesting. So, if I understand this correctly, identifying nucleus farmers and empowering them so they're able to absorb the problems of the smallholder farmers. Mr. Nyaba, is this something that would make sense to rice farmers?
Yeah, you see, sometimes, the results, we have a past experience that we can take lessons from.
Okay.
I don't know whether any of you are aware that now Ghana source all their raw materials from us.
Okay.
What they do is that we have conversation with them. They support my group through us as a nucleus farmer. Whatever agreement we do with them. They don't have anything to do with any farmer. We only take them to the farms to go and see how the farms are performing. But in terms of how the land is prepared, how we plant, how harvesting is done, how the produce get to their warehouse, they have nothing to do with that. My other farmers have nothing to do with them. So I have the conversation with them, I sign contracts with them, we agree on quality standards, I go down there and make sure I put all the agronomic practices and the farmers follow and we deliver to them. And it has been working perfectly because Ghana used to import barley for brewing of malt and other Guinness products. Now they stopped all that and they're taking all the sorghum from us. We can do the same thing for rice, just like Mr. David was talking about. I agree with him. You see, when you go to the valleys, there is no amount of government support that will be able to address all the challenges the smallholder farmers are facing. Because land preparation is very expensive and it requires heavy machinery to be able to do that. Storage, getting appropriate storage requires heavy investment to get these silos and other things. A unit of a simple combined harvester last year, the least you can get is 250 Ghana cedis. No single peasant farmer will be able to acquire that. But if you identify the nucleus farmer and they do proper investment with that farmer, just connect the farmer, even if government doesn't want it free, link us with the banks and then try to subsidize the interest rate with flexible payment terms. We'll be able to do it. But the kind of investment that government is always doing, I mean, it will take a very long time for us to get there. And it is because government is doing with a different
Mr.
mindset.
Nyaba, I don't mean to cut you.
To get the political gains.
Mr.
So
Nyaba,
government want to be there. Yes.
These suggestions, have they ever been made to government? Have you ever approached government with these suggestions? Mr. Dupoko is laughing, but I need to clarify.
On daily basis, we engage them. As we speak, I just administer that to the minister. On daily basis, we provide these recommendations. But just like I said, it's not only the recent government. With even past governments, I mean, anything government is giving, they want the people to see government officials being there delivering the service to the farmer, so that they will say, okay, we've given this to you. Let me tell you a very short story. when government introduced the planting for food and jobs in 2017, I went to visit my farmers in the Edra who do maize. So I was asking them how they are feeling. By the time voting had we just finished voting and then the season started. When I said, oh, I'm ready, they've given us a fertilizer and then government have taken half. And then the half, they say we should pay half. The other half, they say we should take it, we should pay again. So the voting that we voted for the government, it's time for them to pay us back. So that's the payment they are paying for us. So we are very happy. So once you go in there and then you give a political talk and promise that I'll do this for you, and they see the same government going directly with government officials, delivering this support to them, they think that you are paying back for them voting you power. But when I go there, my farmers know that, okay, we are an association, I fight for them. But let me tell you, people say they give input to farmers, they don't pay. I can tell you the number of trucks of fertilizer I delivered to my farmers last year, every single farmer paid. Because I made them to understand that it's business, we are giving them market, and then they understand that if you don't get it, if you don't pay next year, you won't get it. Or the group will be held accountable to that. So even if an individual is trying to default, they will find a way of bringing that person back. And those who are not serious the following year, they will leave them out. As we speak, I'm currently compiling names of those I'll be supporting this year. And they are coming in their numbers. But sometimes I don't really have the capacity to give the kind of support that will help them to be able to produce, to meet the quality standard that Mr. Yaudu Poko and then my friend are looking for. So for us to be able to read, the government have to actually come in and be committed to do that, and we will all be able to achieve what we're looking for.
Charles, let me ask you this question, and I keep saying for the benefit of the entrepreneurs who are watching, who have the interest of going into rice farming. Is there any benefit to be derived from going into rice farming for the individual?
Let me tell you, I have some rice farmers. I don't know whether they will feel comfortable for me to mention their name. So I'll just
maybe you can just give us the figures without their names.
Yeah. Every year, one of the guys is my friend. He was a teacher and then he left. He's now into rice farming. Every year he buy a pearl. Every year. By the end of the year, he will buy one pearl. The past 3 years, this guy bought 3 pearls.
All from the revenue, all from rice farming.
From the rice farming. He was doing other things.
And I guess for some of the farmers, even this is minute.
I'm telling you, I can count a number of government top politicians who are now competing with us in the valleys to do rice farming. Some of them, one of them is popularly known. And he made a quote.
Were they rice farmers before they became government officials?
No, no. I thought one of them, who was even a minister of state, said that he never knew there was so much money in rice farming, and he was in politics for small boys to be insulting him. I'm telling you. So the potentials in rice production is huge. Just like we mentioned, the problems have to do with heavy investment for us to be able to prepare the valleys very well.
Right.
To be able to use drones and other things to apply fertilizer and agrochemicals to get good combined harvesters that will harvest the rice on time, so that we'll be able to sell it and make a profit.
My last question.
Those things are lacking. People think that rice farming, there's no profit in it. But if you have all the machineries and all the things that will help you to produce, it's a lucrative area that any entrepreneur, I will encourage them to come in.
Right, Mr. Inyaba, Mr. Dupoku was saying that, we know government has set a very ambitious target to end rice importation, between 2023 and 2024. Mr. Dupoku said he doesn't see it happening. Do you see it happening?
No, I agree with him because, you see, I have been interacting with the farmers day in and out. And my fear is that if care is not taken, our production is likely to come down this year. This is because of the recent increase in all input prices. Fertilizer has more than quadrupled the prices. Last year, even with the subsidies, we were getting it for 53 Ghana cedis for the 25 kg for NPK. This year, even with the subsidy, we are getting for 160 Ghana cedis for 25 kg. Agrochemical like the weedicide, Sanfoset, and the rest, were buying it last year around 25 Ghana cedis. Today, it's going for 50 Ghana cedis. Tractor services, with the increase in fuel prices, you can imagine how much a farmer needs to pay for an acre. So there are people who earlier on had planned to actually expand their farm size. I spoke to them, and they are saying that they have to scale down. There are others who said they will not even go in because to spend over 1,000 Ghana cedis for fertilizer alone for 1 acre is something that they can't afford.
Right.
So unless something drastic happens from now till May to actually boost farmers' morale to go in to produce and scale up their production, I'm not seeing government actually achieving that
target. Interesting. Looks like if you're on the production side and you're telling us it cannot be done by 2024, I mean, what are the consensus of getting is it can be done, but 2024 with the present practices is almost impossible. Mr. Dupoku, let me get your closing remarks. We're almost out of time. Especially for young people too.
You see, at stake is about 1 billion plus US dollars that we need to plug into the system. Unfortunately for us, that 1 billion US dollars, we go to Cowlin, change it into US dollars, the city, and send it out. That is a very sad story. We need leadership that actually leads, not manage. But as far as farming is concerned, it's a management thing. We have not moved into the leadership situation yet, because how come that we can get one of us to go to Nigeria and create the refund project, and then we had the president of Nigeria going to inaugurate it, and then here we sit importing. They were also importing like us. They decided that no, we have to cut off importation and create jobs in the country. And they are on it, they are doing it. Whilst we are doing directly opposite. Because what we want is that to keep the people where they are, so that every 4 years they will vote for us. But if we turn it into an entrepreneurship, we'll get so many of the young guys going in there instead of roaming in the streets of Accra. Listen, as Charles said, we have cabinet ministers that I buy paddy rice from currently. We have CEOs of organizations like banks who are into serious commercial rice farming. And we have chief directors who said if they knew this, they wouldn't have gone into the public service. So it tells you a story. That is why you see Mr. Tori sitting here doing Benji rice. There is money out there. But the leadership is not helping to tap into that money. We are only doing lip service to it, and it's not helping. That is why the farming that was done 100 years ago is still being practiced. We have not moved into the 21st century as far as farming is concerned.
Interesting. Thank you very much. He mentioned Ms. Antorin Cancer, so we're linking it to you. The question I want you to answer before we end, you mentioned Benji rice, Duke rice. Do you have any female names in there?
It's coming.
Okay.
Maybe like I'll do Nyo.
Yes.
Please give us. I've already taken that name.
Oh, really? No problem.
Rice.
The name is Nuong.
So you
please can I get royalties for this?
Yeah, so we can do that.
Right.
We can do that.
So, Mr. Antorin Cancer, how does a young person watching move into your area? Yes, I know to compete with you, but can you give us some pointers? Also, the question of, do you see Ghana being sufficient by 2023, 2024?
Oh, for the young people entering the rice space, it's not too difficult. They just need to have a credible supplier of raw material, which will be polished rice. Then they can start. They can start by the marketing end. See how it goes. If their marketing end is strong, the rest will be very easy for them. Yes, but for rice importation ending by 2023, which is just next year, a few months away, I doubt it. I doubt it because we are not doing the right thing. Truth be told, you see, the truth hurts, but it must be said. Government's intervention is misplaced. This is the truth of the matter. And until we focus the thing on private entrepreneurs who have the all without, that's how they say it, or wherewithal or without.
The wherewithal.
Yes. To move heaven and earth to achieve a target, we cannot make it happen.
Right.
Because we are used to freebies. So as Mr. Nyaba was saying, oh, government has come, they're giving everything free, so we are happy, we vote for them. That's all. That's where it ends. We cannot stop importation by that. We must give people concessions, huge tracts of land, 5,000, 10,000 hectares of land, farm it, bring the produce, let us push it into the market, and then we can have the confidence to stop importation. I'll tell you something. We supply some major rice outlets, and some of them are major importers of rice in this country. Now, there's a subtle something going on that when you are importing, you must buy some local percentage. It has started on the low. But I'm sure government wants to try it out and see how it looks like.
It's not working.
It will not work because we are not up to the task. Until we are up to the task,
please.
that's fine. Until we are up to the task, to now say that, look, this 5,000 tons you are bringing in, I can supply 3, bring only 2. That is the first step. Then we can reduce it to only 100, and then we can now knock it out. That is it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ntorin Kansa. He's CEO of Benji Rice. He also produces Duke Rice and other cereals. We've also been speaking with Charles Nyaba, who's Head of Programs and Advocacy at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, and also Mr. Yao Edupoku, who's convener of the Rice Millers Association of Ghana. The central point here is that to be able to achieve the ambitious targets that Ghana keeps creating for itself in terms of rice production and sufficiency and security in rice production, there needs to be heavy investment in the areas that matter, especially to the farmers. Disintegrating from populist moves and moves that do not aggregate the interventions. My name is Nwong Falong. Thank you so much on behalf of the entire team here at MX24. I'm especially grateful to the crew for this evening's production. Thank you for joining us. Please join us again same time tomorrow, 5 to 6 p.m. Good evening.